Okay, so get this. Today, we are diving deep into a satirical piece.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, you know me, I love satire, right?
Yeah.
So picture this, all right? We're in this, like, cosmic bar, right? And the patrons are, get this, George Carlin,
Oh, wow.
God,
Okay.
and Julius and Ethel Rosenberg.
Wow, that's a wild combination.
Right. Talk about an eclectic mix. And they're all just casually hanging out discussing, wait for it, the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
Fascinating. I mean, how did those figures even come together in a single piece?
Exactly. And that's what makes this satire so brilliant. Like, you got Carlin, right? Legendary comedian, known for his sharp wit, no-holds-barred social
Oh,
commentary.
yeah, he doesn't pull any punches.
And then you have God, the ultimate authority figure. And to top it all off, the Rosenbergs, Cold War spies. You know, it's a recipe for some serious, insightful comedy.
Definitely. I mean, just the setup itself is pure satire, right? Like, you're already questioning how can these perspectives possibly coexist?
Totally. So the B starts with Carlin just completely baffled by Trump's win, right?
Makes sense.
He even calls Trump an idiot. Which, honestly, knowing Carlin, not really a surprise.
Yeah, that tracks.
But then God steps in. And
Yeah.
God's like, hey, maybe it was just the people's choice, you know. Free will and all that.
Interesting. I mean, it's that age-old question, isn't it? Individual responsibility versus, like, are we really in control? Especially when it comes to something as massive as a presidential election.
Right. I mean, how much of it is actually free will? Because then the Rosenbergs jump in.
Oh, here we go.
And they're like, hold on. It wasn't just Americans picking Trump. Don't forget about, foreign interference, especially from Russia.
Ah, yes, that adds another layer of complexity, doesn't it?
And this is where things get really interesting. Because the piece suggests that Russia didn't need to do anything crazy like, hack voting machines or
I
anything.
don't know. So it wasn't about direct manipulation.
Right, like straight up election rigging.
Yeah.
Instead, they just had to spread, as the piece puts it, interesting information.
Interesting. I'm curious to see how they define that.
Well, they knew it would resonate with, certain people and possibly influence enough voters to swing the election, which is...
Oh, that's like information warfare, right?
Yeah.
Not about brute force, but about subtly shaping perceptions and narratives.
Exactly. And honestly, it's kind of a chilling thought because, like, the piece shows just how susceptible some Americans are to all this propaganda. It even mentions those who actually believe that Ukrainians were all Nazis.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, we've seen how easily misinformation can take root and how quickly it can spread, especially in our current, hyper-connected world.
Right. And it makes you think about the psychology behind it,
Sure.
Like, WHY, are people so ready to believe these things? And the Rosenbergs have this line that's like, people were just repeating stuff they heard on TV as if that made it true.
That's terrifying, honestly.
Yeah, just blindly accepting information because it came from a seemingly authoritative source.
It really highlights the power of media, doesn't it? Especially in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information from all sides. It's hard to filter, to know what to trust.
Yeah. And the piece goes on to highlight another danger. You ready for this?
Yeah, hit me.
Conspiracy theories.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so they portray some Americans who voted for Trump because they thought he was going to defeat some made-up satanic cabal.
That is just wild.
Right. Like, you can't help but think, wait, is this satire?
Yeah.
Or is this, like, real life? Because we see similar conspiracy theories popping up all the time now.
We really do. And it's not just funny anymore. It's scary. Like, how do you even combat that level of, delusion?
Well, the Rosenbergs actually have this cynical toast in the piece. They raise their glasses to propaganda and disinformation.
Oh, wow.
It's darkly funny, but it also just drives home the point,
Yeah.
Truth can be so easily twisted and manipulated, especially in this digital age.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. We live in a world where anyone can create and spread content regardless of its, factual accuracy. And algorithms often prioritize engagement over, like, truth or nuance. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. But you know what? The piece isn't all doom and gloom. Carlin, being Carlin, finds humor in it all. He even gets God to admit that laughter is, and I quote, our last defense against madness.
That's actually a really powerful takeaway. It reminds us that even when faced with, like, the darkest realities, humor can help us cope. And satire, well, it can be a powerful tool to expose societal issues to make us think critically about what we're consuming.
Right. So I think this whole piece leaves us with some big questions, like how do we navigate this world of misinformation, especially when it's so intertwined with politics? Can satire really be a force for change? And, what role does humor play in all of this and helping us grapple with such complex issues?
It's thought-provoking, for sure. I mean, it makes you wonder, are we just doomed to be caught in this cycle of misinformation and political spin? Or can we, like Carlin suggests, find a way to laugh at the absurdity of it all while still fighting for truth and accountability? It's a tough balancing act.
Yeah, it really is.
But hey, maybe that's the point of satire, right? To make us uncomfortable, to challenge our assumptions, and hopefully to push us towards some kind of action, or at the very least, awareness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our deep dive for today. A bit heavy, maybe, but also hopefully thought-provoking.
Yeah.
And maybe even a little bit funny in a dark, satirical kind of way.
Definitely. It's a reminder that we need to be critical thinkers, to be aware of the forces shaping our perceptions, and to, hold on to our sense of humor even when things feel bleak.
Absolutely. All right, until next time.
See you then.